Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is your friend Gretchen Hidell, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, and so much more. And this is This Week in Astrology, starting on July 19th, 2021, going all the way till July 25th, 2021. And it's not just This Week in Astrology. I call it This Week in Astrology because I go by day, but it starts off these cycles. You know, we have these big cycles coming up. I'm going to cover what it means to be in Leo season. We're going to be starting Leo season. Venus is going to go into Virgo. We're going to have the full moon in Aquarius. So we have a lot of things to talk about this week. So welcome if you're just joining me live here on Facebook, live on Instagram. I broadcast live every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Or if you're watching my pre-recorded version on any one of those platforms or on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go all over there and subscribe. I'm the only Gretchen Hidell on YouTube, so just make sure you spell my name correctly and you will find me. So if you are just joining me, welcome. Please post your astrological sign and where you are viewing from. I love hearing where you're dialing in from. Rita, hello. Virgo from Colorado, yay. Almir, hello, welcome. Happy Monday night. Lauren from Pennsylvania. Virgo Sun, Aries Moon, Libra rising. She knows all of her information there. Lauren, you shared me to your group. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And we have here live on Instagram, we have Kate Christensen, Scorpio from Chicago. Welcome. Marianne, hello. Oh, as always, an Aries from Vermont. Kathleen, Leo from Vermont. We're going to talk a lot about Leo tonight, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Almir, Taurus. And then we have CMY76 on Instagram, also a Taurus. Corbin, hello, Mr. Corbin. Scorpio, as always a Scorpio in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome. Janice, Aries in Vermont. Welcome. Janice, why did I say Janice? That is the weird thing. Sometimes my brain does this when I'm on that. I'm reading two screens here, so sometimes my brain glitches out for a second. Well, we have a lot to go over, so I'm going to start going over the astrological energies. First, I want to say, how did you all do from last week, from that Sun-Pluto opposition? I talked a lot about that last week on the broadcast. Chiron turned retrograde in Aries last week, which we're now going to be in until December, I think, 19th. Chiron's going to be retrograde in Aries, so we're dealing with that. But also we had that big, over the weekend, we had the Sun opposing Pluto, Sun, of course, in Cancer, and then Pluto in Capricorn. And those two planets always oppose each other pretty much in the summertime. Hey, Brian from Fillmore, California. Welcome. And so, yeah, so we had that opposition going on. It was quite, I don't know about you guys, but I definitely felt the energy over like the last part of the week into the weekend. It was definitely yucky. Something that I didn't cover in my broadcast that I actually encountered a lot of last week was I definitely did a lot of mediumship work last week. I was talking to a lot of people about the topic of death, the topic of, spirit and our deceased loved ones, our deceased relatives, pets also. So just that's been on the mind of a lot of people, and I think that Pluto, Pluto literally is the planet of death and rebirth and transformation and Phoenix rising, and Pluto was very active last weekend. Unfortunately, Pluto is going to also be active again next weekend. So on Sunday, July 25th, Mercury in Cancer is now going to oppose Pluto. So last Saturday, the Sun opposed Pluto. Now we have Mercury opposing Pluto as well. So we are not even totally out of the woods with that energy. Any of the planets that have to swing by the opposing sign in Pluto, they're gonna kind of swipe past it. And ooh, boy, it was really kind of hardcore. Almir said, 1 week was enough. Juliet, hey, welcome. Yes, Wendy, you said 2 weeks since you saw me. Oh, thank you. You said you missed me. Aquarius, Wendy in Aquarius. Lauren said she was talking to people a lot about mediumship herself. Kathleen, you might feel this too because your son's in Scorpio. Yeah, so my mom said, Rita on the broadcast said, I had enough of Pluto. Yeah, I did too. I felt like that was really kind of hard, but we have another kind of layer that's going to be activated next weekend. So it's hard. But before we jump into that, let's do tomorrow, okay? So on July 20th, which is tomorrow, also my brother's birthday, is the moon. We're going to start out the week with the moon in Sagittarius. If you guys follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, the moon tonight actually moved into Sagittarius. So we're going to start the week in Sag. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the moon will be in Sagittarius. On Wednesday around 6:36 p.m. Eastern time, so 3:36 if you're on the West Coast, the moon will move into Capricorn. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the moon will be in Capricorn until Friday at 8:12 p.m. Eastern time. And then it switches into Aquarius, but right after it switches on Friday is the full moon. I'm going to get to that in a moment. And then we go through the weekend in Aquarius. The moon's going to be in Aquarius on Friday night, Saturday, and then Sunday. It will move on Sunday night, late Sunday night, 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. It'll move into Pisces. So we have Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces this week as far as the lunar, sort of landscape, if you will. And so remember, if you are one of those signs, your sun sign or your moon sign or Venus or whatever, you will feel these moons more. You will feel the energy of it. Or like, let's say the moon isn't, like right now, the moon's in Sagittarius. Let's say you're in Aries or a Leo. You're also a fire sign, so you're going to feel those moons. So remember, you can always work with those moon cycles, and working with the moon cycles is precious because then you can time out. It's really wonderful for timing. Sagittarius is an extroverted moon, so let's say you have to give a presentation. Let's say you want to go to a party or go to a social event or go to some kind of thing. Being with the moon in Sagittarius is going to help you, especially if you're shy or an introvert or something. That'll end up helping you. So just to let you know, that's kind of how you work with these moon signs. So tomorrow, on Tuesday, on July 20th, Mercury is going to form a sextile with Uranus. That's going to happen early in the morning, so 5:38 a.m. Eastern time. Again, overnight. If you're out in California, it's going to happen like 2:38 a.m. But in other words, we're feeling it right now. Mercury is going to form a sextile with Uranus, and that's in Taurus. Uranus is in Taurus. Mercury right now is in the sign of Cancer, so that's a sextile, and those two get along. It's water and earth, okay, so that forms a sextile, and they get along. But remember what I always say, whenever Mercury and Uranus come together, whether it's a sextile, a trine, a square, an opposition, any of the names that we use, it's still, some of them denote a more positive connotation, some of them denote a more negative connotation. This is more of a positive one. Sextiles are said to produce an opportunity that needs some help on your part in order to bring it into fruition. So Mercury is thinking, talking, communicating, and I always call Mercury and Uranus the two wild cards. They're like the live wires of the zodiac. Those two can definitely produce some anxiety. We'll just say that. I mean, it can be exciting. It can be interesting. It can be very, like all that mental, Uranus and Mercury, very mental energy. It can bring kind of some weird stuff out of nowhere. Uranus is the wild card, so that can be some weird things. I always say you can unexpectedly win the lottery. That would be kind of weird. I mean, it doesn't have that connotation, but it is some like stuff that kind of comes out of nowhere. So again, you would have felt that maybe Sunday, Monday, and then into tomorrow, and even into Wednesday. So we have that Mercury, Uranus. Now, I have noticed also when Mercury and Uranus are kind of doing their thing, people will say, Gretchen, is it a Mercury retrograde right now? My computer's being glitchy. My cell phone just did some weird thing. All of that stuff. And so sometimes that energy can kind of produce that. So again, that's going to be Lauren said, what day? So I don't know if you heard me. It was on, it's coming tomorrow morning. The peak of it, the height of it is tomorrow morning. But again, it's going to be active Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and even into Wednesday. But the peak of it is tomorrow morning at 5:38 a.m. Eastern time. And so, yeah, I mean, that's kind of that live wire. It can also be something unexpected as far as like siblings, cousins, friendships, even like any kind of thing where it's like a peer type of thing. There could be like a good opportunity there that could help. Monica said, I'm open to some weird surprise if it's positive. Right. I mean, and sextiles, again, are supposed to produce something that like an opportunity that you need to kind of take the ball and run with it, in other words. So another way of saying that. So this is another week where there's something on every day. So I'm going to try to like move through some of these because, again, they're going to be active for a little while. So that was just that one transit. But Wednesday, we have Venus moving into Virgo. So obviously, if you are Virgo, this is very helpful and useful to you. Venus is going to be in Virgo on Wednesday, the 21st, July 21st, all the way until, let's see, Monday, August 16th. Okay, so we will have collectively Venus in Virgo. And what does that mean? So Venus, remember, is our love life. Okay, it's our sensuality. It's who we're attracted to. And when Venus goes into picky Virgo, suddenly we're more discerning. Suddenly, we've been in Venus and Leo. Venus moved through Leo way before the sun moved through Leo. We're about to start Leo season this week. But Venus has already been there, done that. And so life is kind of a party when Venus is in Leo, as far as our romance goes, okay? Because we have to think of these as departments. Sometimes people get confused, like, what is that Venus thing? Venus is the love department. Venus is the finance department. So we're about to get a lesson in discernment. So all of a sudden we become a little bit more picky, a little bit more discerning, a little bit more, practical, pragmatic when Venus is in Virgo. Now, I've talked about this on previous broadcasts, probably last year when Venus went into Virgo. There's a few Venus signs that are known for being, let's say, the bachelors and the bachelorettes of the zodiac. A lot of people with Venus in Virgo is one of the top 3 or 4 of the bachelor and bachelorette. And the reason for that is anybody ever good enough? I mean, I know a lot of Venus and Virgo people, and they're picky. They're real picky, and it's like, well, they get the next one might be better, and the next one might be better, and the next one might be better, so a lot of Venus and Virgo people have a hard time settling down. I mean, any sign can be a player. Any sign can cheat. I believe that's something that can happen within any astrological sign. Usually Venus in Virgo isn't necessarily known for being cheating. It's more about that bigger, better, upgrade the option, keep swiping, on your app and you'll find someone better, and there might be someone even better, because nobody's perfect. And that's the lesson of Venus in Virgo. Now, let's say you're a person that has had a really hard time with that in their life, okay? Being picky. Maybe you're not discerning enough. Maybe you're not picky enough. Maybe you've made some wrong choices in love, and if you had listened to your gut and your intuition, you would have done better. We could all use a little Venus in Virgo, I think. Especially if you have problems with picking the wrong partner or not having high enough standards. Okay, Venus in Virgo will make those standards go up really high, and then all of a sudden it gets like, well, they chew with their mouth open. I don't know, they put their socks on the floor and they just leave it there. I don't know. So. Almir said, I call it standards. Yes, there you go. Almir, do you know, is your Venus in Virgo? Yeah, that's right. It's about having standards. It's about being a little picky, being a little choosy. You don't have to bigger, better, option it, where it's always like the next one's going to be the right one. But for the next 2-3 weeks, roughly, definitely we're going to be having this beautiful gift of discernment in our love life and also finances. So let's say the same applies for you in, let's say, the stock market, and you invest in, you didn't really do your research and you kind of, I don't know about this, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that can be a thing that helps you too, that you want to discern where you're spending your money. Do you have 90 million subscriptions that you're not using? Does this product, I know a lot of Virgo people, especially Venus and Virgo, that are like consumer report junkies because they have to like make sure every little thing is like, the thing. It's the best option and the most for my money and I get my good, So it's not a bad thing. None of this is bad. It's just that when Venus and Virgo natives, so let's say you're born with Venus and Virgo full-time, this is a full-time thing. By the way, if you have Venus and Virgo, go ahead and post on the broadcast because I'd love to hear from you. But if you have that built in full time, that can be problematic because basically you might be always waiting for the bigger and better option. And then that can be rough because you're always kind of picking apart your partner. You're always going, ooh, they didn't do this right and they didn't do that right and they didn't get it right, And so it's something that you want to kind of keep an eye out for. Oh, Holly, you have Venus and Virgo. I forgot about that. Yes. And you are single. You haven't done the settling down yet, She said, yep, laugh out loud. Yeah. Almir said, I might as well be. But Almir, you're a Taurus, and that is still that Earth. Venus and Virgo is Earth. It's an ancient kind of thing, and I'm sure that we're doing a lot of scrubbing of being PC, we'll just say. But the symbol for Virgo is the Virgin, right? And so it's said that Virgo, the Virgin, it's not about literally virginity, but it's about like that, that ancient sort of, purity and like all of that stuff. And I'm sure someone's going to try to scrub that clean and make it, more in current times, but it still stands, it's still something that, that's what the I keep itching because I have a little mosquito bite here and it's like driving me nuts. It's that time of year. I don't know if any of you all are allergic to mosquitoes. I am. By the way, I should have said that last week too. That was another thing. A friend of mine got bit by a spider and, like a brown recluse spider, like a bad spider. And ended up in the ER and stuff. And Pluto, by the way, is venom. Pluto is toxins. It can be all kinds of things like that. So you always want to watch out for toxic type of stuff with that Pluto activated. Let's see. Somebody else. Oh, Monica, Venus and Virgo. Another single, another bachelorette. Kristen said, me too, I get terrible reactions. Yeah, I'm a person that I get really big welts when I get mosquito bites. I'm one of those people. And mosquitoes also love me, so it's, ugh. But anyway, so getting back to this Venus and Virgo thing, we're going to get a little picky, we're going to get a little discerning, and we'll get a little bit more pragmatic. That's the blessing of earth signs. Earth signs are practical. Does this make sense? Does it make sense for me to date this person that maybe, has different interests and hobbies from me, lives in a different state or a different country? How pragmatic or practical is this relationship to my life? Would they really fit in? They're a morning person, I'm a night person. Would this really work? That's basically what Venus and Virgo. So suddenly, let's say you're not single. Let's say you are definitely in a relationship with a partner. All of a sudden, we can start to pick apart our partner. So again, we don't want to get too carried away with this energy. All of astrology, okay, is about balance, okay, and is about, you can have too much of a good thing. There's always dichotomy within astrology because there's dichotomy in life, without the light, there would be no darkness. So this is basically the thing. Maggie, oh yes, double Virgo, practical is your middle name. Yes, that is true. Virginia said, oh my gosh, mosquitoes are awful with all this rain and humidity. Yeah, in Vermont, we're like in a tropical jungle right now. I think the humidity is like 100%. Lauren said, very single, Venus and Leo. I'm telling you, I should start a dating site. Anybody on here kind of thing. But anyway, so we have that Venus and Virgo. It's going to go into Virgo at 8:37 p.m. Eastern time on July 21st, 2021. And like I said, it'll last all the way until the 16th of August. We have the gift of discernment for 3 weeks roughly, and we'll be able to be a little bit more picky. And maybe if you are single and looking, this is a very good time, okay, to go ahead and look online, because then you might be able to have a better selection. CMY76 said, I don't mean to pick my partner apart, but I guess I'm pretty good at it. Yeah, I know. That is the Venus and Virgo thing. You're always kind of wanting the bigger and better to improve. Well, don't say that, it's always like upgrade and improving. And that can get a little carried away, and people can get a little sensitive and feel like you're not believing in them. Virginia said Venus and Scorpio, and you are picky too. Okay, well, there you go. And you're intense about it, because Scorpio is a little bit more of an intense sign. I'm trying to click on this. Let's see here. I just have to move my camera for 1 second. Kidding. Oh, Holly said, you weren't kidding about the Sun and Pluto thing. Work was so crazy Thursday and Friday. Luckily, you had Saturday off. Yeah. And I think, if I remember correctly, you work in healthcare. So, yeah, I mean, it would have been very crazy. The other thing is, too, I should say this really quickly before I move on to Leo season, because Leo season is coming. Okay, Venus and Virgo. Virgo is the sign that is most associated with health and good health. So you might want to improve your partner's health during this time too, or be looking for a healthy partner. I was just thinking about Maggie, because Maggie is a personal trainer. And so, yes, definitely that can be a thing too. So all of a sudden eating salads, and you're, telling your partner, you gotta make sure you go walking, and you gotta help to, make your body more fit, or whatever kind of thing. So yes, it's good to have your partner want to be healthy. That is a good thing. But remember, you should motivate yourself, not picking on the partner, because that doesn't motivate. Picking doesn't motivate. Picking puts people into shame and does not inspire. True change does not come from shame. Just to let you know, or picking apart somebody. That never makes somebody have true change. True change comes through motivating and inspiring somebody. So if you're just pointing out flaws, that doesn't work. It just doesn't work. In fact, you'll break rapport. Harville Hendricks says, and he is one of the great relationship counselors out there. Harville Hendricks says that once you hear criticism, even one criticism from a person, that's it. The brain shuts down, and you go into safety mode, and therefore the person can't even really hear you. It's like something that kind of is a thing. Oh, you guys are talking to each other. That's awesome. I love that. Okay, so let's move on to Leo season. Okay, we're moving into Leo season on Thursday. That officially starts, oh my gosh, it is so hot right now. That officially starts, the sun moves into Leo on Thursday, the 22nd, at 10:26 a.m. Eastern time. The moon is moving into, the sun is moving into Leo. There's two planetary bodies in our solar system that do not go retrograde. It's the sun and the moon. Neither of them go retrograde. And Leo is all about showmanship, being proud. It's a fire sign. It's a fixed sign, so we're fixed. We're in the middle of the season now of summer. That's considered to be fixed. Okay, we're in the middle, and it's something that we're kind of hunkered in. So fixed signs. That's all y'all fixed signs. So Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio. You'll all feel the Leo season because it's highlighting your fixed energy. Okay, you'll also feel it if you're a fellow fire sign, so Aries or Sagittarius, you'll feel that as well. And so Leo is all about, I like Leo season because Leo literally is associated with the 5th house in your astrological chart. 5th house is the house I nicknamed the fun house. So it's all about kind of playing like a child, okay? Being open, being kind of curious, having fun, going to parties, going to concerts, going to events, if it's safe for you. I'm not telling people to go out and get the Delta variant of COVID. That is not what I'm advising, okay? But, you know, it's about like kind of having a little bit more fun. Leo is associated with royalty. Leo is associated with children. Okay, so being, you know, kind of in an aristocratic way, playing like a child and being kind of from a heart space. Leo is the heart literally and your spinal cord. I know a lot of Leos with heart problems. So, and that's two big areas, heart and back. It's like, oh, you know. So if you're Leo, that can be problematic for you. That's also, I think, why I know it's interesting, because if you think about the symbology of Leo is the lion, but because of the heart association, I know a lot of Leos that are vegetarian or vegan, just on a side note. The archangel that is associated with Leo is Azrael, okay? And Azrael is really, I'm not sure if I'm even pronouncing that right. A lot of their names sounds very similar, the archangel names. But Azrael is associated with rainbows. Yay! So if you think of summertime, you think of the rainbows, you know, the rainbows cannot exist without the sun. And Leo, literally the ruler of Leo, is the sun. So when you think about the sun, it's about shining. It's about being a star. It's about being out there. It's about being front and center. You know, Leo is the consummate showman, or, you know, showwoman. Leo is all about performing, you know, singing, dancing, just kind of being out in front of, and camera work. All that kind of stuff is very Leo. Leo is the hare, okay, if you think about the hare. The lion, okay, that's the lion's mane is the hare. And so Azrael helps us to, if you think of rainbows, you know, that can be a sign that Archangel Azrael is with you. If you see rainbows, or if you have a lot of association with rainbows. I have Leo rising, and I don't know if you guys have seen on my personal page, I take pictures of a lot of rainbows. I fortunately live in Vermont. I was looking for, I know there's another card here, but I might not have seen it. See, there's like even a rainbow with you might not be able to tell on the camera, but there's a rainbow kind of hue to each one of these cards. The card of clairvoyance, the card of spiritual understanding. Leo helps to shine the light. Okay, if you think of where is our ego? You know, I mean, everything revolves around the sun. That's Leo. Okay, a lot of big over the top personalities are Leo. Okay, Madonna, Whitney Houston, J-Lo. Okay, they're all very big grand dames of you know, the entertainment business. A lot of Leos are very big personality people. Being a Leo is all about being entrepreneurial, you know, because if you think about it, it's the star of the show, or like a manager, supervisor. Leos don't like to be in the back. Every once in a while you get a really quiet Leo, but usually it's because like maybe their Mercury is in Virgo or some other shyer sign. Usually a lot of Leos are kind of out and out front and center, okay, of life. So that's a thing of performing and getting out there and doing all those things. Lauren said, yes, I see the rainbow. Oh, Kristen said, I love rainbows. Yeah, I love rainbows too. And so Mae West was a Leo. Oh, your God, yeah, there's a lot of Leos out there. So a lot of big over-the-top entertainer type people. Muhammad Ali, I believe, is a Leo. There's a lot. I'm trying to think of some male Leos, but there's a lot of, you know, I'll talk about them for 1 minute here. Our former president, Donald Trump, had Leo rising. Okay, your rising sign is how you outwardly appear to people. He had that Leo thing. And I always say, what was he most famous for before he even became president? What was he most famous for? It's the hair, the Leo hair. There's always something with hair with Leos. I just saw J-Lo is starting to do hair commercials for some kind of a hair product. I don't remember the name of it, but she's doing hair care now. So it's always a thing with Leo. So anyway, so we're going to be in Leo season for this month. It's going to start on July 22nd and it will go all the way until, let's see, the sun enters Virgo on August 22nd. So it's 1 month, and that's what we call Leo season. So in astrology, the seasons go by the date that the sun goes into each sign. So we're going to be in that Leo season, and things will be a little bit more grander and a little bit more. I think Leo is a very fun sign, unless if it's the tantrum type Leo, which is like, what about me and how about me and what about me and me and me and let's talk about me and all that. That's boring. Okay. Again. Maybe a former president could be like that, that I was just talking about. Make everything great again, and how about I'm great and you're great and everything's great and it's great. Yeah, no, that's the Leo sort of tendency. And all signs, all astrological signs have positive, and then they also have shadow sides to them. And the shadow side for sure with Leo is the ego. Okay, so we just want to keep our ego in check with Leo. But the Leo season is really a lot of fun and can be a good time. It's all about entertaining and playing like a child, being your own inner showman. That can be a little uncomfortable for you if you're really a shy person and if you're really introverted, but it can also help to push you out of your comfort zone. See, sometimes comfort is not always a good thing. Getting out and performing and doing like whatever it is you do. Now, if you have a hobby where you're an entertainer, if you play music, if you sing, you're an actor, you do videos, you do YouTube videos or something like that, this is like number one, A+ for you. And if you have any aspiration in those fields, any of the creative fields, Leos are very, very creative. Leos are also, it's kind of unspoken, but Leos are very often intuitive people. I don't know why. Like if you Google like intuitive signs, like Leo's usually not listed, but I know a lot of Leos that are very, very intuitive people because they get the information very fast. Okay, it usually comes in, the heart. A lot. If you look at the Heart Institute, Heart Math, there's a lot of sort of evidence that shows that intuition actually is perceived by the human heart, not really by the brain, it's by the heart. So it's kind of interesting. When you look at Archangel Azrael, I'm getting, the card Clairvoyant comes out and spiritual understanding. So Azrael can really, Bridging the Gap. Oh, that's an awesome name. On Instagram here said, they really listen to their gut. Fifi Wonder Girl, Leo rising can have a feline-like facial features. Yes. Yes, we can. I'm also Leo rising. Okay, so I have the very lioness sort of appearance, some people have said. So it's a thing. So anyway, so yes, so getting back to that, Archangel Azrael can help to heal wounds of the ego. So let's say somebody put you down. Let's say somebody injured your ego. Let's say as a child your ego was injured constantly by a caretaker, a parent, a teacher. Okay, any of those things where you have to heal up that stuff, that's Archangel Azrael can shine light on it and can also help to heal you. So ask for Archangel Azrael's help. And I used to have a beautiful rainbow obsidian, and I cannot find it anywhere. It was gorgeous. I wanted to show you guys. I couldn't find it. But anytime you need help healing with that rainbow, it's a beautiful thing. Now, so Leo, it just goes in right on Thursday, and then the next day, then we have the full moon in Aquarius. So we're having our first full moon of Leo season already. Right the minute after, it's like the day after. So it's going to only be 1 degree Aquarius. And I think Glenn on here said that I think he said he's a Leo and he married an Aquarius. I lost it, Glenn. Yes, Glenn. You married a Leo and you are an Aquarius. So you got the full moon energy right there in your marriage. So let's talk about that. The next day, The full moon is in Aquarius, 1 degree Aquarius, and it's going to be taking place on Friday, July 23rd, 2021, and it's going to be at 10:37 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:37 p.m. if you're Pacific Standard Time. Okay, so that's going to be on Friday. So it's going to be right after we go into Leo season, boom, 1 degree Aquarius, because remember, the moon is always opposite of the sun, okay, during a full moon. So the sun is in Leo, Aquarius. So again, these are the fixed signs. So if you're a Taurus and a Scorpio as well, you will feel this energy, and a fire sign will feel this too. I mean, obviously we all feel these on some astrological level. Ooh, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay. It's that allergy season. So anyway, so Aquarius is all about sort of doing things uniquely and differently. You know, I just talked about how Leo is associated with royalty. Leo wants to feel so super special. Leo wants to be, to feel kind of a little bit like ownership. Leo can be a possessive sign. I know a lot of Leos that are very jealous people. And Aquarius, again, is the opposite. So Aquarius wants to be free. Aquarius wants to be unique and different. Aquarius wants to love the masses, right? So if you think about the most activist-oriented sign, it's Aquarius. It's all this like social activism. It's environmental. It's free will, free spirit, you know, gay rights, all different kinds of different, you know, kind of causes and things, where Leo tends to be like, you're special, you're in my special group, you're in my special club, you're the chosen one, you're more. So you see how those two kind of work opposite. One is more global and big, and that's the Aquarian energy, and then the other one's a little bit more, you know. Glenn said no argument on the possessive Leo. It's interesting though. I always use my selenite wand that I keep in my lap during broadcasts because it does help me to channel better. If you guys have an interest in channeling, I can always do a broadcast about that. But I use the selenite wand to say, if Aquarius is over here, Leo's over here, but they're a continuum of actually the same vibrational energy, just one's on one side and the other is on the other side. So if you think about, I want to feel special, I want to feel unique, and it's like, but I love everybody. I love all people. I love all, you know. So it gets to be these two kind of can get into a power struggle. It's interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine about this. Aquarius feels love when they feel free. And when a Leo feels loved and feels special and feels adored, that's when they feel free. Again, it's a continuum on the same thing, if that makes sense. It's almost like once they're chosen, once a Leo is chosen and picked and singled out, that's when they feel free. It's like, you picked me over everybody else. That means something. Where Aquarius is more of a global, everybody obviously wants to feel loved and picked and whatever, but Aquarius is less kind of, Aquarius doesn't have to have that specialness, not chosen and the singled out and all that kind of stuff. It's like, well, you know, you should love everybody. Everybody should get along. Horn SB just said, I'm a Leo and surrounded by Aquarians like Wendy. Oh, yes, exactly. Bridge said, Venus in Aquarius. Me too. My Venus is in Aquarius also. I'm a Leo rising, Venus in Aquarius. So even that myself, I argue with myself about that. That's kind of a thing. Han said, yes, I absolutely get that. Yes. Monica said, I hope Aquarius will bring universality to memorial ceremony you're leading a portion of Friday evening. Awesome. Lauren said yin yang energy. Yes, exactly. Wendy said Aquarius here having a giant garden party. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you know, so these two kind of, you know, if you think about nepotism and royalty and, you know, just that chosen, being special and selected, and you're in my secret club, and, you know, you're in the inner circle. That's all very Leo-like. Again, I'm not picking on anybody here, but if you think about the last president who has Leo rising, that was very much a theme of his presidency, of like, you know, it was in that, you know, you're in the inner circle, you know, type of thing, and whatever. So that's the Leo desire, but Aquarius wants to be free. Aquarius will come back. You know, I don't like how a lot of astrologers in their writing, they talk about Aquarius as like, kind of being cheaters, and they can't settle down, and they're fixed sign people. They're fixed. They actually, as long as they feel free, they will come back. It's like, you don't have to keep that dog on a leash and a collar at all times. That the dog, you know, the dog will keep coming back to you if you just feed it really well and you take really good care. That is a thing. So, but Aquarius needs to feel that freedom, and that is in all of us. So this full moon is telling us that we're wrapping up a cycle, okay, about our, you know, this theme of the freedom, the uniqueness, being different, all of that type of stuff is that Aquarian theme, and that we're wrapping that up. Okay, so in the wintertime, we had a new moon in Aquarius, and that was when the energy started, okay, and then basically we're continuing. This is kind of the end and wrapping up. So you know what I always say about full moons. Okay, firstly, this is the time to burn or safely destroy your new moon manifestation list, okay? Secondly, as far as the new full moon goes, we're wrapping up a cycle. It's a peak of a cycle. It's the maximum, like we just like maxed it out, peaked it out. So whatever you started back in when the new moon took place, which I don't know off the top of my head, I'm going to have to look very quickly. That is basically the deal. Let's see. So the new moon was in Aquarius on February 11th, 2021. So what did you start around that time? You're going to have to do some thinking, okay? And it would have been a new cycle in Aquarius. Now we're wrapping that cycle up. We're ending it, we're peaking it, we're finishing it, we're maxing it out. It's taking place, like I said, 1 degree Aquarius. So if you were born right in the very, very, very beginning of Aquarius, if you are an Aquarius, you're going to be feeling this is right on, or like I said, if you have a moon in Aquarius or some other thing in Aquarius, it's good to know where Aquarius is in your astrological chart in order to know how it will affect you. But remember, if we're in Leo season, we want to feel special, but Aquarius wants to feel free and not really like, you know, like it has to be this special thing. We're all special and unique in our own way, and that's what Aquarius is here to remind us. So there's a little like power struggle between those two, the sun and the moon, this week on Thursday and Friday, because the two of them are kind of going at it a little bit, and you will feel this ground zero if you are a Leo or you are an Aquarius, but everybody will feel it on some level, like I said, especially those fixed signs. So Taurus and Scorpio, you are not left out. You're right in there too, because you're fixed signs also. So that's coming on Friday. So remember, Friday night, burn your list. You can charge your crystals. Okay, that's a wonderful thing to do under the full moon. Charge your crystals. Okay, say a meditation, say a prayer, and then we're going to be starting the purging. So remember, new moon to full moon, we're manifesting, we're pulling in. Full moon to new moon, you're letting go, you're purging, you're getting rid of, you're releasing, you're letting it go. Okay, so that's when we start releasing all of the Aquarius stuff, okay, you know, in our lives that we can do. So also kind of in the middle of that, on the 22nd, July 22nd, which is Thursday, Venus is going to form an opposition with Jupiter. Actually, as far as oppositions go, that's a really fun opposition. That's probably one of the best oppositions out there, Venus and Jupiter, because, you know, Jupiter makes everything bigger, even when it's opposing, okay? The only thing about Venus and Jupiter opposing each other, by the way, that'll be Thursday at 8:45 a.m. Eastern time. So you'll feel this Wednesday and Thursday. is that there could be too much love or too much indulging or too many sweets or too many cookies or too many, drinks, alcoholic drinks, if you're so inclined. Any kind of thing like that, there can be too much of, okay? Yes. Wendy Martin said, what kind of sign does an Aquarian need? Well, obviously Aquarians get along well with other air signs. So Gemini is an air sign. That's a good match for Aquarius. Libra can be a good match for Aquarius as well because it's an air sign. So any of the air signs can get along really well. And fire signs too get along really well, because if you think of air and you think of the complementary element of fire, okay, fire needs air, okay, and so the Aries and all that. Just the only thing about it, and we have a couple people here that are married to Leos, okay, and Aquarius is married to Leos. The only thing about the Leo and Aquarius is they're opposites. That's the only fire sign that you might have a little thing. But remember, you guys are not as opposite as what you think. You're on the same continuum. It's just one is more on this side and one is more on this side. But you're actually, at the heart of each of you, you want the same things. You go about it different ways. Leo and Aquarius goes about it different ways. Okay, you both want freedom and you both want to feel special and different, and Aquarius is known for being kind of different and unique and whatever. I mean, why is that? Usually if you just want to blend in, you're not being different and unique, right? I mean, so that's the thing of it. So maybe there's a little hidden subconscious thing in an Aquarius that wants to feel special. Hello. They're on the same continuum. It's just they do it differently. Leo just sparkles. That's what Leos like to do. They like to sparkle. Again, Madonna, Whitney Houston, all the big, J-Lo, they like to sparkle and glitter and, kind of shine their light. It's a thing. So Juliet said, woohoo. Wendy said, great, thanks. And of course, I'd have to see your chart to really know. Horn SB on Instagram said, get along and love Aquarians. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so, and then, like I said, last but not least, we can't just, we end the week on that Pluto transit. So, pretty much like last week where the sun opposed Pluto, like I said in the beginning of this broadcast, now Mercury is opposing Pluto. It's going to be on Sunday at 4:15 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, I guess that's, 1:15 p.m. on the West Coast, 3 hours earlier. Mercury in Cancer. And so if you think of Cancer, it's hurt feelings, it's emotional, it's wah, wah, wah. And then that Pluto digs deep and can be harsh and intense and stabbing and venom and God, it's all that stuff. And like I said, last week, how this kind of worked was for me, was as a medium myself, I got a lot of people asking me questions about life and death situations and discussing the afterlife and discussing spirit and discussing mediumship and all those types of things. So I hope that helps everybody. That was this week in astrology, and it's going to be kind of a topsy-turvy week, especially as we get into Friday with the full moon, and then Sunday with the Pluto opposition. Wendy said on the 25th you have that garden party. I would stay away from politics. I would stay away from religion. I would stay away from all the hot topics. This is not a time to point out someone's deep psychological patterning, because that could backfire, because people don't, Cancer's the crab. Stay away. Don't do that, Oh, Almir, if my moon is in Cancer, is that going to be double the fun? Yeah, it can be. Unfortunately, that's how we've been wrapping up at the end of Cancer season every year, because Pluto is right at the end of Capricorn. By the way, you will feel this a lot too if you're a Capricorn. So Cancer and Capricorn, again, they're opposites, but they're on the same continuum. Capricorn's work, Cancer's home and family. If you think about home and work and home, well, how do you pay for your home? Through work. right? A lot of people work from home. You know, like it's all on the same continuum. Usually you work because you want to have a family, you know, you want to raise a family, you want to have all of that stuff, you know, I mean, that's a thing. So, and Capricorns, their work is their family. And then Cancers, you know, loves their home and family. It's a thing. So, Wendy said, no pulling on people's root systems. There you go. That's exactly right. Leah said, where does Virgo fall in the mix? Well, I already talked about that earlier, but Venus is moving into Virgo. So Venus is our love. At least Virgos are getting some love this week. A little bit of love, okay? As long as you're not picking it apart. Don't do that. No criticism, okay? Love and criticism are actually opposites. So I hope that helps. So yeah. So anyway, let me, if anybody has anything you wanted to ask, or I usually close with answering a few questions. And I usually pull a card, a collective card. By the way, if you're loving this broadcast, like and share. That really helps to spread the algorithm, helps to increase the algorithm, and also if you want to post, that also helps too. So I am ready if anybody has a question. Oh my goodness, let's see here. I know there's a little lag in the broadcast, so anybody that has a question that, or I'll just pull the collective card. What does everybody need to know? Okay, about the week, we can pull the collective card, but usually I answer a question. All right, let's see. Andrea said you wanted to know about a person. I'm just going to pull one quick card for you. I know you and I are trying to get our schedules to meet up. I don't know. It's not working, but let's see. We'll keep trying. Andrea, I'll just pull one quick card for you. What do you need to know about a person? About the person you're asking about? Interesting. Hello from heaven. Hello from heaven. Okay, that's using Archangel cards. Hello from heaven. Archangel Azrael, your loved ones in heaven are doing fine. Let go of worries and feel their loving blessings. You are definitely getting some kind of a spiritual guidance from a deceased loved one, a deceased relative, could even be a deceased pet, but somebody has been trying to contact you. Andrea, I don't know if we've ever talked about you having mediumship ability, but there's basically something that to that you have somebody that's been trying to give you signs, okay, that about this person, about the person that you're with now, or that you have a crush on or whatever, and basically that's what the deal is. So you've been getting signs, and the signs have specifically come from a relative or a deceased person that's in your life. Feels really female to me than male, but anyway, I hope that helps. You have been getting some signs and some pointers, and it's like I kind of feel like that is a thing. Okay. Let's see here. I have a lot of questions here on Instagram. Okay, let me look here. You're welcome, Andrea. All right. Creams, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. You're having a hard time maintaining optimism, managing stress. Any tips for the coming week? I always get, Spirit guides me to whose question I answered. I don't have time to answer everyone's question, but Spirit kind of guides me to talk to people. And so, whoa, there you go. Each crams, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. You got the card of media. Okay, you were talking about how you had how you're feeling down lately, and how you're feeling a little bit. I would even say the way when I feel your energy, I would even say kind of mildly depressed, like apathetic and mildly depressed. And And I actually feel like for some reason you're keeping yourself small. I don't know why this would be, but I feel like as if there's a bunch of things, like I feel like there's a lot of like career things around you. I don't know. There's a lot of career things, and I almost feel like you're keeping yourself small, keeping yourself down, not doing some of the things. Like, it's almost like if you felt like you needed to do a YouTube channel, or you felt like you needed to do an Instagram thing, or you felt like it's like I don't have the equipment, it's not good enough, I don't know what I would talk about, I don't know, like I'm getting like media, speech and speaking. Media is you can reach more people by working with video, audio, print, and online. Speech and speaking is you have important messages to deliver and you can help others. And it's like, I almost feel like you're keeping yourself small. And I feel like that is what is kind of driving you to feel like this apathetic / depressed, feeling. It's like you're, I can't say it enough, keeping yourself in this thing. So I feel, like you just got to take a chance. I feel like you got to just put yourself out there. I feel like there's just something, that you're meant to be doing here, and you're kind of like, you're playing it too safe. You gotta just it's the fear that's like keeping you stuck, if that makes sense. So, and you're not allowing your creativity to flow quite in the way that, the angels are really pushing you. And I will just say, when they push like that, when angels or spirit guides push that hard and that aggressively, sometimes it can make us feel anxious, like we're crawling out of our skin and we don't know why. And just so that you know, that's really the angels pushing. They don't do it to make us feel uncomfortable, but when we sense spirit, or like Andrea, I was answering her question before you. When you have a lot of spirit with you, a lot of people with mediumship ability have anxiety that they can't explain, because spirit vibrates at a different frequency. Angels vibrate at a different frequency. Spirit guides vibrate at a different, and it's much more of a quicker, faster, higher frequency than we do. So I always say, when you're like for example, somebody like me who does readings like this, basically, when spirit is with me, like I am like I can feel the energy of spirit a lot. So and it makes me feel a little anxious. I'll just be honest, it makes me feel a little buzzy. I almost say it's almost like an astronaut that's going up into outer space without a spacesuit on, like Sir Richard Branson. I meant to pull up his chart, by the way, because he just went up to outer space. And I thought that might be a fun one, because we're always talking about these politicians and different people, but I thought that might be a fun one to look at. I have never looked at his chart before. He's quite an interesting person. But anyway, so when you're getting these spiritual hits, it can make you feel like you're crawling out of your skin. And just so you all know, and I know I'm answering a specific question for two different people here tonight, it's kind of a similar answer. It's almost like you're in, although I think they're coming from two different, Creams, I almost feel like your messages are coming from your spirit guides, where Andrea, I actually specifically feel a deceased loved one. And they are different and separate, okay, just to let you know. So I don't know, it's interesting. I feel like they're both kind of trying to like say something, and sometimes we're not. I just kind of had a funny meme I found. It was kind of like this picture of a lady like looking confused, and it was kind of like when the angels send you spirit angel numbers and tarot cards and 25 different signs, and then it's like, can you just pull one more card for me? Because it's like not enough to get through. The angels sometimes really have to push and push and push, and so sometimes those pushes that we get can feel very anxious, like, oh my god, I'm just gonna vibrate and come out of my skin. So I hope that helps both of you, or all of you, really, because anytime spirit comes, sometimes people who are the best mediums. I mean, Teresa Caputo talks a lot about the Long Island medium on TV. She talks a lot about how she's had this really big history with anxiety. And that is usually spirit for her, but she didn't know. She thought she was going crazy a little bit, or she thought she was just a super anxious person, or, you know, kind of felt bad about herself. And here, it wasn't even that. It was that she is really open and receptive to spirit, and spirit was kicking her butt and, you know, kind of trying to get through. They just vibrate different. They're, you know, we're 3D matter, you know, I mean, we're on this earthly plane, and they're in a different vibration and a different dimension. So yeah, it feels like, you know, I always get, after I do a lot of mediumship readings, I always get like super up, like I get really like high up, and I feel alive, and I feel wonderful. And then afterwards, I'm like exhausted. And spirit can sometimes do that, because it's like lifting you up, and then you come crashing down to the earth again. It's kind of interesting. I've said this to I've never said this, I don't think, on a broadcast, but I've said this to some friends and to people that know me really well. I kind of feel like I know a little bit of what it must be like on the other side, because I talk to spirit so much that it's so wonderful. It feels, there's no worldly words that I can say to describe what it feels like, but it's amazing. Like, I feel healthy and happy and almost like over the top exuberant when I do those types of sessions. And then when I come down, it's like, oh, okay, I still have to vacuum, and you know, I don't know how to describe it, but it's almost like I had, like, I don't drink coffee. I don't actually drink any kind of caffeine, but I feel like I had like 3 cups of coffee after I channel and I talk to the angels and I work with spirit. And it's amazing. It really is amazing. And I feel that everybody can talk to spirit. I do. I just feel like we have to kind of practice, you know, and know kind of the telltale. Like Kate just said she said, this resonates a lot with me. And Lauren said it resonates a lot with you too, and you've had anxiety your whole life, and you've just begun to identify that it's not your anxiety. Right, exactly. I know it feels a little bit, this sort of sounds a little bit strange, but angels and our deceased loved ones are in that energy too, which is so beautiful. You know, I mean, it's wonderful. It's very interesting. I do a lot of readings. I work a lot with people who have near-death experiences. And they all feel a little bit like this. They all have that a little like, they're partially here and partially there. They all have that sort of feeling with them. And sometimes I'll be reading and I'm like, I get that feeling and I'm like, did you almost die? Like, and they're like, yeah, how did you know that? And I'm like, yeah, because they have that feeling of kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, it feels like it's touched by the angels, or touched by divine, or touched by God, you know, whatever word you want to use, but it feels kind of lovely. Now, of course, they're back to Earth, and they're back on the 3D planet, and they're back in their physical, you know, body. But a part of them kind of is still a little bit, you know, over, you know, it had gotten real close to the other side. So anyway, so I hope that helps. Again, see, here we are talking about Pluto, talking about this, you know, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. I mean, it's just tough, you know, Pluto gets so intense, you know, so intense. And then we get really into our stories and the ego and all of the stuff. So, yeah, so I hope that helps. H. Kareem said, so helpful, thank you. And you're right on. Many career things happening and attention pulled in all different directions. Honey, go where your heart, go. First of all, the angels were very clear in your reading. You got to get out there, and you got to speak, and you got to be online, and you got to do all that PR and whatever thing. You have a message that the world needs to hear, and they're really pushing you to do it. You might be stuck on the behind the scenes stuff, and if you can, hire somebody to do that stuff for you, because you need to be out there doing. Okay, I hope that helps. You might have to spend a little money, I know. Kate said, oh my gosh, wow, seriously amazing message. Thank you for sharing it. It was captivating. You are very welcome. Wendy said, yes, they got a taste of heaven. If any of you have a interest in this topic, I would highly recommend a book called Dying to Be Me by Anita Morgiani. She has a very famous story that about crossing over, basically having a conversation, and oh my gosh, her story, if I could ever interview her, I'd love to have her on my channel. Like, that would be amazing. But yeah, she's a pretty amazing person, and if you ever get a chance to read that book, if you have an interest in this topic, it is a wonderful, wonderful story. So I'm going to leave you all tonight. I ran a little over. I'm going to leave you all with my one card that I always pick for each of you, a collective card. What do we need to know? Okay, we have Venus in Virgo, discernment, at the same time that Mercury is going to form a sextile with Uranus, which is going to help us to kind of get maybe a little surprise. Venus in Virgo is going to help us to have discernment in our love life and our money-making decisions, especially with the stock market being kind of crazy. We need a little help in that department. Then the moon moves into Leo, where our ego, and we're meant to shine really bright. But right after, we're challenged by that full moon in Aquarius. It says, no, help the masses, be an activist, don't feel special, you're one of many. And Leo says, no, I need to feel special. So, and then we end the week on that darker Mercury opposing Pluto. It's intense. What do we need to know about all of that energy? One card, drill it down for us, angels. One card. What do we need to know so that we can navigate? Because it's a lot of different energies. The one theme. It looks like Venus and Virgo is winning here. Okay, editor. Now I know you guys might be like, what? What's editor? Okay, your writing or your other creative projects. So it doesn't have to just be writing, but it's kind of like what I just said with H creams on Instagram. Your writing and other creative projects benefit from outside help and support. We can't do everything all the time by ourselves, okay? We need help. And all of this Aquarian energy that we have is about helping the masses, helping humanity, helping the world, civil rights, gay rights, environmental rights, animal rights, I mean, whatever, okay? We are all little particles of sand that make up one big beach, okay? We're all interconnected. So we need to ask for help when we need to ask for help. An editor actually means you in your life might need outside help, whether it's a housekeeper, whether it's somebody to pick up your children at daycare for you, whether it's someone that, can be a pet sitter or water your plants while you're out of town, whether it be somebody that's on social media that can help with your website or help you with your something. We all need help, and we're Leo has a pride. Leo is very proud, sometimes too proud to ask for help. So this is about asking for help. If we need help, asking for help. And remember, we're all interconnected, and that we all can rely on each other and kind of get our needs met, okay? Because maybe that person that's the pet sitter needs the money, okay, to feed their family and feed their children. So it all kind of goes into the big collective pool here that we have. So editor means that we need outside help, or we need someone to look over a project, or we need a little extra. If it's not your area of expertise, don't try to do it. Hire someone to help you and get that outside help. So I hope that helps, okay? And as always, I love talking to you guys on Monday nights. I look forward to it. It's so much fun. It's a nice little community that we've built up here. Please, if you get a chance, go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Gretchen Hidell. I'm the only Gretchen Hidell on YouTube. And if you'd like to have a personalized astrological session with me, please feel free to text me or send me a DM. Texting is faster. I've been booking up a week or two in advance, so I need a little of that. Daxie, oh, I like that. I'm going to end on that note. Daxie on Instagram said, "It all helps. I'm buying a Roomba ASAP." That's one of those self-vacuum cleaner things. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, everybody. Good health, happiness, well-being, and happy full moon. Take care, everybody.